What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Popcorn Punchups, the podcast that we pick movies and we go head to head. And I always pick the better ones.
Always.
Always. Yep.
So far, it's 2-all.
Right.
So 50% of the time, you win every time.
That's right. Well, if you use it as a learning experience, you never lose. You never lose.
Sure. Yep. So you never lose because you learn to pick better movies. You have to pick better movies because the first, I don't know what you want to call it, the first fight, you only won 1 out of 6.
Yeah, I picked with my heart. I didn't go on the forums and be like, what's the most
Neither
trending
do
thing?
I.
Oh, here we go.
I find good movies.
That's it. Get more defensive.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, yeah, that's right. Look at you.
Look at me.
A little smug up there.
I'm so defensive.
Yeah, up there, and I've got you on top you're on top on the Discord layout where I'm looking at. So yeah, you're on your high horse there.
No, we're side by side because I see us as equals. So we're side by side.
Oh, wow. I like a little bit of rivalry. Well, yeah, what's been happening, bro?
First week back at work, been pretty busy. Still heaps of design stuff going on. Happy when it's all over.
Yeah.
We wanting to play more games, but it's just been a massive week. But Rivals has been fun again.
Yeah, it is.
I'm actually excited.
New main.
Yeah. Trying out some new characters.
Mm-hmm.
Feels good.
I'm just holding you there, solo tanking, putting you on my shoulders.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm like Groot and you're Jeff or Rocket on my shoulder.
On your shoulder, yep.
Yeah, you know the team up.
Yes, gotcha.
Groot's the only one I don't know how to play.
Yeah, Groot's tricky.
Ironic.
It's like a huge amount of hours needed sort of character.
He also gets banned like the most. So
yes.
I'm like, doesn't matter.
I'm happy to ban him as well. Like fucking hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing going on really interesting in my world. How's you?
Yeah, pretty busy. This week was a slog. I had to catch up with The Last of Us. So I only saw the first 4 or 5, so I had to catch up, plus watch a movie, plus all the sport is kicking off, plus first week back. It's been a heckers week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine. We got there in the end.
Good job.
So got a little bit sunburnt yesterday. So yeah, got the old sunglass tan, nice little
the raccoon eyes. It's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
Maybe not in this light.
It's not too bad. That's not bad. It's fine. But yeah, we have a little bit of movie news.
Sure.
Let's see, you ready for this one?
I'm always ready for this.
Guy Ritchie.
I know him. Yep.
Friend of the show. Yep. Hits us up regularly.
Yep.
It's like, new movie coming out. He's headed to direct Roadhouse 2. That was Conor McGregor and Jake Gyllenhaal's team up on the Amazon Prime original. We never watched it, but we were like, do we watch it?
It was on our list for 2 or 3 weeks, and we just never got to it because better things came out.
So Guy Ritchie's directing Roadhouse 2. Oh, it's my dog. My dog wants to go out.
Okay.
But yeah. And then we also have Avatar Fire and Ash. We'll see Nirunja question everything in her grief. So yeah, you can pronounce it. I'm going to let my dog out.
Okay. Dude, the last Avatar, I've actually heard people say it's not bad. I don't understand. It's like when it first came out, everyone was shitting on it. And then since it's been out for a while, some people were like, no, new Avatar's great. Like it's well made and it's well paced and blah, blah, blah. Like, oh my God, I fucking hated it.
It was just blue on blue.
Yeah. And like 3 fucking climaxes at the end and the rest of the movie was boring as shit.
Yep.
I hated it. But no, I don't. It's become a thing now. I've heard multiple people from like good sources say it wasn't that bad. I don't understand. Why is all of a sudden people thinking it's decent?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people like to jump on the hype train and be like, nah, it's overrated. So I've seen like people being like sinners. They're like smashing sinners. They're like, it's overrated, it's overhyped, rah, rah. I was like, I don't think so.
No.
But yeah,
It's probably the best movie I've seen this year.
Considering the box office is booming and it has passed 160 million. See that little segue? That was clean. Yeah.
What segue?
Sinners on the box office.
Right,
news.
into the next movie news.
Oh, see?
Oh, so clean I didn't even notice.
That's how good I am.
Yeah, I'm seeing heaps of TikToks about it and stuff, and people doing like little role plays of what would I be like if it was my friend at the door, sort of thing.
Yeah. Or even the comic one where it was it Haley is transformed into the vampire, and she's like, "Well, you come out here." You know the line.
Yeah.
Keeping it PG.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, all right," and they just walk out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, your dick. Yep. I didn't get a PG, sorry.
But yeah, that's pretty cool. Hits over 160 million.
Good.
We have Jurassic World Rebirth is coming out soonish, and we're going to get more and more bigger T-Rexes and stuff. So I am keen for some more dinosaur action.
Yep.
And then we have a reunitement, which another friend of the show, Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, are reuniting in a romance thriller. Boom, boom, boom. I think their last one was, I want to say, Lake House. The one where it's the time traveling one, where they go in the...
Oh.
Yeah, the Lake House.
Is that what it's called?
It's called The Lake House, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We watched that.
And before that
no, I think
was
something
Speed.
different.
Speed was before that.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I'm thinking of, what was that one where there was like the two families who double booked the hotel or the like cabin?
You're cordially invited.
No.
Will Ferrell and
no, not
Reese.
That one.
No?
No, it was more of like a thriller where the world was ending and there was like all these disaster things happening. They're on the beach and the water started rising and...
you watched that one?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Not important. I don't know what it was. It's all good.
Yeah, so they're teaming up for a new romantic thriller.
Sure.
There will be a touch of romance in John D. Bonnet's 1994 action classic Speed and romance with a light touch of a thriller in Adriano Ascus 2006 supernatural weepy The Lake House, but now Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock are reunited to return and make a out-and-out romantic thriller at last, boom, 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 which is going to be headed by Amazon MGM Studios. It's just be written by Jackie Scribe, who was a co-creator of Noah Oppenheim, Bullock's and Reeves' reunitement returns.
I can't make sentences in my head out of some things that you say. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let's move on. They're in a thriller.
They're in a thriller, okay.
Yeah. Oh, my dog's barking. Introduce The Last of Us.
All right, so we watched Last of Us 2, or Last of Us Season 2. The first season came out. When we did our first podcast in the first season of our first podcast, we reviewed the season 1, and it was great. It was really, really good. Reimann for some reason didn't finish it, which I find surprising considering how fucking good it was. But yeah, obviously based on the video game, it's probably one of the first really good video game adaptations in this current era of pretty good video game adaptations. And yeah, season 1 just follows this girl who's immune to the virus. There's a zombie virus. Well, not really zombies, but these mushroom zombies. And
Cordyceps.
Yep.
Because they're fun guys.
Yeah, they're fun guys.
They're actual cordyceps.
Yeah.
That's how cordyceps work.
Yes, but to the layperson, that doesn't make any sense. I was just putting it as mushroom zombies.
Cordyceps are actually really good to increase your athletic performance as well.
Cool. Yep.
And
there are these cordyceps.
Yep.
And basically, yeah, the world's ended. These cordyceps zombies have taken over, and humans are sort of struggling to survive. So the first season is at this girl who has been bitten but is immune, and they're trying to get her to a certain place so they can, find a cure with her. The first season ends, spoilers, 3, 2, 1. If you haven't seen it already, please do. The first season ends with the best scene in the game and the show, where the Fireflies, who are like the good guys the whole first season, they take Bella and they have to kill her to harvest her blood, more or less, to help find a cure. And Pedro Pascal walks in there and shoots the fucking doctor and steals his new daughter, more or less, and leaves with her. And she's sort of unaware, but she's also kind of aware. And the season ends with her sort of knowing and asking him, and he lies. So then the second season, it's a bit of a time skip. How long was it?
5 years,
5
wasn't
years?
it? 5.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since I watched episode 1, so you're probably better on those details than me. It starts with them living in Jackson, which is a new settlement built by the people. It's a bit of a communist society, more or less. And Bella is now... I keep saying Bella, fuck me. That's the actor's name, Bella Ramsey. Ellie is now this like badass zombie hunter. She loves going out on missions and fucking up zombies and stuff. And it's just like cordyceps because zombies isn't really accurate. And Pedro is now in his 60s. He's an older gentleman. He's part of like the political powers of this city. He and his brother sort of run the place, and his brother's wife. And it sort of starts with them sort of getting on. But in the background, unbeknownst to them, the Fireflies, who turns out the doctor who he shot was the father of a girl called Abby. The Fireflies are coming after him, and they're out for a vengeance to come and hunt down Joel, Pedro Pascal. So the first episode, we see them on their way. The second episode, they reach Jackson, and they know he's down there. They're on like recon duty, and just coincidentally, while out on patrol, she goes to, scope out who these people are while she's on patrol and they're on patrol. She gets attacked by zombies. Joel saves her life, and she leads Joel and Dina back to, because Jackson's under attack, back to their little like house in the woods. And that's
because Abby stirs up the hornet nest, which they foreshadowed.
Abby stirs the hornet's nest.
Yeah, so when she's out reconning, she slides down that
yes
cliff thing, and then they were all like, "Oh, there's a part where the cordyceps are using the bodies for insulation, and like we don't go near that because if you go near it, it's going to stir it up."
Yep, correct.
And then there's also the pipeline, which continually gets close-ups on.
Yeah, we shouldn't really have a part to play in the end.
But it will.
It will. Righto.
Yeah, because you saw the little tentacles come out.
Yeah. But one of the guys saw it. I thought that was going to be like how they infiltrate. They get a guy. Because they're getting more intelligent. I thought it was going to be that someone was going to be infected on the inside, and then that one on the inside was going to open the gates or something. It ended up just being like a full frontal Game of Thrones assault on the gates. Battle of Blackwater. But yeah, so episode 2 is episode 1 is setting up stuff. We get introduced to a whole bunch of new characters. Jesse is like this young kid who's in a relationship with Dina. Dina is the love interest of Ellie and sort of Ellie's companion in this season and the second game. We also are introduced to Joel's brother Tommy and his wife Maria. That's all episode 1 is just sort of setting things up and getting used to the new town or whatever. Where episode 2 is this whole attack on Jackson, Joel being lured out to the woods. Abby, who I didn't know was she in season 1 at all? Abby? No, okay.
Only got introduced in game 2 as well.
Right, because Caitlin Dever, who we know recently from what's it called again?
Apple cider vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar. Yep. And she's great in this. She's like being typecast at this point as like a bad person, like a bad guy, but she does it well, so it's fine. So yeah, she lures out Joel. She's like, "We know who you are and what you did," and blah blah blah. And she starts to like brutally attack him. And Joel sort of gives up to protect Dina. And Dina gets like tranked. Joel gets tortured. Ellie ends up rocking up, finding him, and she gets like kicked in the ribs and punctures her lung, I'm assuming. It's not really said, but that's sort of what we can make out of it. And Joel gets killed. And the reactions I've seen online have been amazing. Like, people are really fucking upset about it.
Which I'm surprised, because the game's been out for a long time, and that moment in the game was pretty crucial. Like, lots of people had the exact same reaction to people watching the show. They were like, I don't want to play this. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Even the whole bait and switch kind of thing reminds me of Metal Gear Solid 2, where like you've built up this whole experience with the character, and then they bait and switch you into this new person that you have to like play along and learn again, which was Solid Snake, and then you had to play as Raiden in game 2.
Right.
Where even in the game in Last of Us 2, after Joel is murdered, you play Abby and also Ellie. Like, you have the intertwining storylines.
Oh, you play as Abby. Abby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Didn't know that.
She has a completely different play style with Ellie and Joel as well.
Oh, there you go. Because I pretty much got to Joel dying in Last of Us 2, and then I don't know, just got distracted by other things and didn't end up playing more of it.
Yep. Yeah. So do you get to play as Abby and learn her story and stuff? Okay.
Curious. So that's how episode 2 ends. Episode 3 is a bit of a time skip. 3 months, I believe. You watched it recently? Yeah, I think there's a 3-month title thing came up.
I don't think there was a title on this one. I think they just pushed it on a little bit, like when everyone was thingoed. And then the guy that makes the homosexual remark to Ellie and Dana, he is trying to make amends, and then he's like, over the last 2 months or whatever, I've been squirreling away rations and ammo and whatever.
Yeah, we haven't quite got there.
I can't remember the flash on the screen. The only flash on the screen I remember is the 5 year.
5 years. I'm pretty sure it was 3 months from memory. I did see a flash. I think it was 3 months. So this is down the road. Ellie has been in hospital for this long because she's got a punctured lung, and obviously medical care isn't amazing in this post-apocalypse world. She is out for revenge. So she speaks to Tommy, Joel's brother, speaks to Jesse, who is now part of the council, the town's council. And she's trying to get that she wants to go out with a few people and go hunt down Abby and the Fireflies, or they find out the wolves. And they have like a council meeting, and the guy that you mentioned, when Dina and Seth, there we go. When Dina and Ellie at like a New Year's party, they are drunk and high, and they hook up. There's like this old sexist guy, not sexist really, old homophobic guy comes up and is like, "You dykes," and the whole thing kicks off. But he actually is a nice guy. Well, we find out later, sort of. I mean, homophobic mind is homophobic kind, but anyway. And he sort of stands up for going out and hunting. Ellie gives a big speech, but they still decide not to support, because they're originally going to send out like 16 people with to go out, but they're like, it's too soon. What if we get attacked again? What if? So they end up. Yeah,
they lost a lot of people in the attack as well. So.
Yeah, which totally makes sense. I don't even think I would vote to go out and hunt these people when it's not a good time for the town. So of course, that's Ellie and Dina go, well, fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyway. So they, with the help of Seth, get a horse, get some rations, get some supplies, medical care, whatever. They load themselves up and they set on the road to hunt down Abby. And that's pretty much the beginning and middle of episode 3. We also see these people. You might be able to shed more light on this because I'm not really sure who they were. These people who had like these scars on their cheeks and they had hammers and they looked very much like pacifists.
They are so cool.
Oh yeah,
they are so cool in the game.
Cool. All right.
And they are a massive threat in the game.
Oh, okay.
They are. They're a cult. No.
They're a cult. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, they're so good, and then they communicate with whistles and stuff. It's sick.
Sure. Yeah, that was cool. There's one scene only one scene we really got with them where they were traveling from A to B. And yeah, we saw them communicate with whistles. There's a little girl. It's quite a cute scene. Later on, we see them all slaughtered. And we can assume that the wolves came through and did it. Well, we don't know if we can assume that. We know that because with the whistle code, we found out that it was wolves and not four-legged wolves, but two-legged with guns. Which are it's like a mercenary group Abby's part of.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, episode 3 is them leaving Jackson, beginning their travel. They get to, I forget the town, Seattle. They're going to Seattle, which is where the wolves are. Just Ellie and Dina. And they reach the outskirts of Seattle. And the episode ends with us seeing just how powerful the wolves are. They've got military fucking vehicles and heavily armored vehicles and full like military personnel, organization, communications, lots of weaponry, whatever. So we're like, oh fuck, how are they going to do it? And that's how episode 3 ends.
Yeah, the wolves are cool. They're very different to the fireflies. So the fireflies are kind of like just a ragtag mercenary group where the wolves are a bit more military-esque focused. So
definitely comes
cool.
Across,
I don't want to go further into it because you haven't finished the game and it'll spoil it for you.
Well, I'm excited this season to watch the show without knowing things because the first season, obviously, I watched it the whole way through. Obviously, they did some things differently, but I knew all the story beats and how it was going to end. Whereas this season, I have no idea. And I've managed to avoid these Game 2 spoilers for the last, about probably 10 years since it came out?
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Also, the therapist was a weird choice. I was not expecting the therapist to be like a recurring few scenes here and there.
Is she in the games? Not at all? Okay.
I don't remember seeing that, which was weird.
Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2020. Damn, I thought it was earlier than that. 5 years ago.
I remember I sold my PlayStation and then it came out and I was like, and then I borrowed your PS4 and the game and then I smashed it in a week. Yeah.
Yeah, because I bought it and then you borrowed it and I never played it.
Yep.
It's still sitting in my cupboard.
Yeah. It was sick. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think this will spark me to play it. But yeah, please, I want to know what you're thinking.
I got to say, they again have done a really good job. The cinematography, the acting, and the direction with everything and the story beats really good. I do have a problem with the casting of Abby because in the game she is quite a large, muscular lady.
Okay.
Like she is quite intimidating.
Sure.
So there are a number of people that could have played her that may have fit the role better. Apparently the person who voiced her in the game is a pretty big unit. I think she does like CrossFit or whatever. Like she's pretty staunchy.
Right.
Where I found Caitlin, was it Deva, who played her. Like her acting was awesome. Like I think she did a good job. Just visually, I'm comparing her to the game and she's very slender.
Doesn't come across as physically threatening.
No,
in this.
Like if you Google Abby in the game,
I'm looking at
Abby
it now.
Last of Us.
Yep.
Yeah, she's a unit. One of the best choices I thought they could get is Ronda Rousey.
Okay. Yeah, she's pretty tanky. She got pretty big arms and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that was probably the only real glaring issue I had was just the casting of Abby.
Sure.
Just because in the game she's a physical threat, and the way you play as her, like she's not agile, she's not quick. You play her as like a brawly sort of like
Right.
physical character. Like
Interesting.
That's her like play style.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. The rest of the crew, they were pretty spot on. I thought they did a really good job with that.
Yep.
Her like little band of
Owen and Manny and Nora.
Yeah, vengeance seekers.
Yep.
Yeah. I am excited to see more of the cult people come in.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad they play a bigger part.
They're terrifying.
Sweet.
As it goes on. I'm interested to see how people react to Abby, like if they're going to follow the story beats of the game or change that up. Because obviously they are showing they tried to give you the backstory of why Abby wants to have the vengeance with Joel, because the doctor that was going to be operating on Ellie was the father of Abby.
Yep.
Which is revealed in the show.
Yep.
So that's not a spoiler.
Yep.
But then also, it's like I didn't quite get the emotional reaction at the end of season 1 as I did in the game. Like when I finished the game, maybe because I knew it, but it was like when Joel shoots everybody.
Yeah,
I was like, after it, I was like, whew, that was quite intense.
Mm-hmm. And because you're the one pulling the trigger and doing the deeds, it feels a bit heavier, I think.
Yeah, but like that was pretty cool. Like there's not much. There was a couple of like CGI issues when you have all the cordyceps rushing into the town. I was like, there was a few, even the dogs attacking the cordyceps. I was like, it's a little bit too CGI-y.
Okay. I picked that up.
But like it looked alright. I just thought it was a little bit too CGI. The big full cordyceps monster that's chasing Tommy.
Yeah.
And he's like burning it. I was like, he's gonna fall down and then it's gonna die. It's gonna die just as he's about to take a swing.
That old trope.
Yeah, and then it did. But yeah, like it was fun. It was very good. There's not much really wrong with it.
No, it's pretty clean. I think even like with his name was Seth, did you say, the old bloke? Even with him, like little side characters have pretty interesting story arcs. Even the psych, Catherine. Joel, what's her name? What's the therapist's name? I know the actor is Catherine O'Hara, but even the therapist, like her little side story, you know, we can sympathize with her. She's an alcoholic and a drug addict because of how much everybody else's bullshit she has to wear on her shoulders, and yeah, I feel like they're really good at building character in this and making you sort of sympathize and empathize with everyone, even people that initially come across as assholes or whatever.
Yeah. Even Ellie does not come across well to anybody, really. Like she's very, very rude and very bashful, I guess. Like, but you still like you care. You bashful. Care for her. You care for Joel. Probably not
bashful's
bashful,
like shy.
She's quite.
She's abrasive.
Yeah, probably that one. She's kind of like a steam train in a. Yeah, like a battering ram.
Yeah.
But like, I enjoyed it. It was captivating, even though it was a slog to catch up with everything. I did have an issue in season 1 where the scene in the diner where it catches on fire. Like I thought there would be a little bit more tension, because in the game that scene was like
yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think they built that up enough, but
it was over pretty quick. Because in the game, that's a huge like integral part of the second half.
Yeah, and like that fight scene was, I think, underdone a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're pretty little things that, I think are great little homages to the game and stuff. Like even back in season 1 and middle in season 2 as well, like avoiding glass when you're walking through to get surprised, because glass can attract the I was gonna say symbiotes. Glass can attract the cordyceps. Like there's little things that remind you that it's based on a game for those who are in the know. So I'm curious to see how I appreciate season 2 without having played the game.
Yeah. Also in the game, from memory, wasn't it airborne? It was spread through the air, like the fungus was spread. It was like kind of like airborne, like spores or something or other.
I don't recall.
I feel like there were like parts where you had to avoid in the game. Like I remember sneaking through parts, and it was like that little brown puffy.
Oh,
yellow,
I'd like avoid that. Okay.
Yeah, where
I'm
wondering because of all the close-ups of the tentacles and stuff, is it going to be more like contact through the tentacles rather than airborne spores?
Yeah, interesting. I don't remember that.
It might be.
Yeah, not much else. It's shot beautifully. I think it looks great. I really like the score, the use of there's like the intro music, how much they rescore that to different minor keys and major keys. And I think it's just, pretty well crafted. I'm ready to give it a pretty simple 4. I think season 1 so far was a bit stronger. But they do also tension is great. Like episode 1 of this season where they're in when Bella's in, Jesus Christ, when Ellie is in the was she in like a shopping complex and she falls through the ceiling? And that whole scene, how even though we know she's immune, she's still not immune to death. That whole way they build tension in that scene and stuff is really great. So I'm excited to see more of that. It was
also,
was up.
Even though I thought it was the weaker of the episodes in season 1, where you get the friend, where the friend comes back, you get the backstory of Ellie, which I think is the spin-off game where it was like Ellie and like, do you remember that one where they're in the shopping mall?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which I think is based off I haven't played that game.
Yeah.
It was on my list to play, but I was like, I don't know. It came out after the first one. It was like a filler in between.
Was it a full game or was it just like a DLC?
It was more of a DLC, but they did do a physical release as well later on.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was called. But like Ellie and her friend like bond over like silly jokes and stuff. And then we do get that same sort of bond between Ellie and Dana in episode 3, where they're like traveling along and she makes up a joke about bear something or other, bear ribs or whatever, which is a nice little like continuation.
Yes, so the jokes from the joke book in season 1, they've flipped roles. You literally see Ellie become Joel and Dina become Ellie.
Yeah. So I'm with you on the 4. I don't know. I will probably come around to the casting of Abby. I just visually, I'm stuck on it. But I think she did an awesome job. She did an awesome job on it.
And it's not visually, because everyone's complaining, all online I see a lot, is people complaining about Ellie being cast wrong. It doesn't look like Ellie. It doesn't need to look like her. I don't think that fucking matters. But if body type makes a big difference in like physical threat, and making you physically scared of someone if that's the way they're portrayed in something versus the next. So I can't argue with that one. That's actually a big difference in character portrayal, but we'll see. That's how they paint her.
That's the only real issue I had with it.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's an easy 4.
Yep. I'm it's only between 4 or 4.5, but I think 4 is fair for now. Season 1's a 4.5 for sure.
And next episode comes out tomorrow.
Yes.
On Star Wars Day.
I always complain about, I like when they just batch release everything so I can binge it, but I'm enjoying one thing that is good about this and TikTok and everything is that we get to see people's reactions for each episode, kind of like Game of Thrones, and there's more community around it.
I think batch releases work for longer episodes because they are like 50 odd minutes each. Where if you're releasing a 20-minute episode each week, I don't think it works. I think if you're releasing, say, an anime, I think batches of 3 would be better rather than weekly.
Yeah, that's fair.
With Devil May Cry, if they went first 3, second 3, third 3, that would have been fine.
Kind of like how Arcane did.
Yeah, I think that gives you enough that you're like, okay, like I've enjoyed that. Now I can wait for the next week or wherever the next release is.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm okay with that.
I just hate waiting. I'm so impatient. But anyway, let's kick off into some Marvel, boyo.
Yeah, we are. We are into Thunderbolts. I've been pretty keen for this one. This is kicking off Marvel's, I think, like 4th wave or phase or whatever they want to call it, which after Endgame, it was a bit dismal besides, I want to say, is it Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings? That was probably the only good one after Endgame that I actually enjoyed. The rest of them were terrible. So like Eternals, terrible. Miss Marvel, terrible. The Marvels, terrible. Just disappointing. And then Captain America.
We gave Marvels a 2. I don't think it was terrible.
It's terrible.
Terrible is like a 1 or below. We gave Marvels a 2.
It's just terrible in terms of...
In comparison.
Right. Like, yeah. And then Captain America Brave New World had some right direction on where to bring back the magic of Marvel. And then we are into Thunderbolts because we have seen bits and pieces of our ragtag crew, which has very, I guess, Suicide Squad-esque vibes because they are the anti-hero squad that gets thrown together. But we have seen all of these guys in a number of movies before, so we have a returning cast, but after finding themselves ensnared in a deadly trap, unconventional team of anti-heroes must embark on a dangerous mission that will force them to confront the darkest corners of their past. That
makes it sound so much shitter than it is.
My intro?
No, just the description on IMDb makes it sound even like so fucking generic.
Yeah, so we are obviously getting Bucky returning, so aka the Winter Soldier, also known as the White Wolf as well. Then we get Florence Pugh as Yvonne
Pugh.
Nope. As Yelena Veloske, which is aka...
No. There's no K. Belova.
Belova as Black Widow. So her last appearance was seen in Hawkeye when she was sent off to go murder Hawkeye.
All right.
But we also got her introduction in the Black Widow standalone film, and that's where we also get our what's his name? The Red Guardian. So David Harbour as Aleki Voloskov. Shostakov. Man, it's almost like I can't read.
It's almost like dyslexia.
He is the Red Guardian, and he... I thoroughly enjoy the Red Guardian.
It's just David Harbour being David Harbour. he does it well.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
We also get White Russell as John Walker, who
you meant to say Polo.
Yeah, and he is the US agent. So he was the first seen in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he was originally the new Captain America, but because his friend died, he snapped and then murdered someone, and then that was the whole catalyst of him being like dethroned as Captain America. But then he gets recruited and becomes the US agent.
The one really quick, the one casting I don't like is White Russell. He's not a superhero to me.
Okay.
He feels strange.
That's the whole thing. He's not a superhero though. Like he was, because of his military background, they were like, we need someone that's going to envision like and be the envisionment of like America after Captain America has left.
Yeah, okay. He just doesn't feel threatening, intimidating, powerful, whatever.
Okay.
That's not how I envision Wyatt Russell or fucking people, but...
No, well, in this he's not. Like in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, he actually did quite a good job of being like that not good guy.
Sure.
Yeah. And then we have Ghost, which we saw it was Ant-Man and the Wasp, that they were the villain in that. So they're the ones that can like phase in like different phase in and out, like teleporting, kind of like Misty Step or like whatever. And then we get to see Taskmaster as well for a little bit, which was a villain in Black Widow.
Oh, okay. They die pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, which I was like, what? Why? That was bizarre. But that happened really early. Like, yes, it was there because you needed Ghost to be able to feel guilty and then redeem herself, which was a weird choice to go down. I didn't understand why they killed off Taskmaster, but that's fine. Yeah,
I thought it was like a bait and switch, like, oh, they're not actually dead, because it felt like
no,
they're going to have more. But you can't have two characters in black cloaks with white masks.
That's true. They're like, we can't change any colours, so,
so get rid
we
of
can only have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then one that I felt like stole the show and I kind of like because of her survivability, which is our main catalyst for where everything's going, and she is the villain, which is the Valentina Alice de Fonsval. I have no idea how to pronounce her last name.
Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Yep. That's
it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I didn't realize that Julia Louis-Dreyfus was in the MCU.
Yeah. Yep.
I was a bit like, whoa, okay. But she was great. She did well.
Yeah, she was awesome. And then Sentinel, which is real name Bob. It always cracks me up. He is the equivalent of Marvel's Superman. He is the, I guess you could say, villain in this one. So
more
we
or
get
less,
to see him as the catalyst that they have to fight. After the trailer, I was like, don't you go down the power of friendship to solve the issue.
It's more about companionship than friendship.
Yeah, same. So we obviously have all our anti-heroes, which they're from doing their own thing in their own different little parts of this world, which is the MCU. They all get contracted, a mission from Fontaine to go to this place and essentially try and kill each other. As they have a big confrontation, they find out, I've been sent by blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh no, we need to, who else has been sent here? So they all work out that she has conscripted them to fight each other and kill each other.
Yep.
And they're like, no, we're going to band together and fight back. And then they are rescuing Bob. And then they're trying to get this guy, Bob, out. And then as they have their comical moments, which I did laugh at quite a number of the moments, where they're trying to get out of the tunnel, it was actually well done with the humour. We get them to try and escape. They are then confronted, and then we find out that Bob isn't just your average guy, but he's kind of invulnerable to quite a lot of things, can sort of fly, so he is the distraction, gets shot, doesn't die, can jump really high. We find out, his powers are pretty crazy. And then we get the other guys escape. I feel like Yelena is the main, I guess, star of this crew, because we spend the majority of the time from her perspective, and we get her introduction at the start. I enjoyed Bucky's introduction into it. I thought he was cool. He was like washing his arm in the dishwasher, and his introduction on the bike was real fun. Also, Red Guardian or David Harbour entering the scene in his limo.
Yeah. They cast the right person for this. Is this his first movie he's in?
No, he's in Black Widow too. He plays the Red Guardian.
Right.
And he's just this is what he was like in Black Widow as well.
Yeah. I don't think his accent it wasn't bad in places, but when he's like yelling and stuff, it was not fantastic. But you know, he's having fun. He added a nice, like, I think, not that I'm a big into the other ones, but I think a big part of this universe is that, like, you know, comedy and banter between characters and a bit of silliness, that family friendly stuff. You know, you got to have that back and forth, which they tried introducing into Star Wars, which I don't think works, but it's a whole different argument. But David Harbour's great. He's super fun in this. I'm going to kill that person now.
Even he's like, give me the vodka, and then he lights it on fire and throws it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
Yes! And then nothing happens. How excited he gets over the name of Thunderbolts as well. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. I think they did a really good job with the blending of humour again. It did remind me of the first Avengers, where they have that interaction with the crew. So, like, in the Avengers, you have those sort of one-liners. Even the first Guardian of the Galaxy, I think they nailed it as well, where they have the comical lines, but also the seriousness and then the action. I think that is back on track. It did give me those vibes. I was like happy the whole way through watching it. And then we get them as they are captured by Bucky, and then he realizes what's happening, and then even the point where they convince him to, like, help, and then David Harbour, like, loving himself.
Yeah,
very, very fun, very funny.
It's fun.
It's a fun way. Even when we get to see Sentinel, when Sentinel gets taken over by the Void. So Sentinel has two parts to him. The Void is like the shadow or the darkness, and then I guess you can say Bob is the other person.
Yeah.
Even when I went into that, and I was like, I know where this is going, because when we have Val have that interaction with Bob afterwards, and it's like, you can do whatever, and is manipulating them. We get to see her as a child, and she's like, I need to excuse myself, and there's a kill switch and all of that. I was like, oh, we're going to get someone to go into the Void, and then it's going to be the power of friendship or companionship or whatever. I still think it was done well. It was.
The whole...
I
didn't expect a PG fucking Marvel film to be one big allegory for depression. And that companionship and, you know, relying on people and leaning on others is the way out of depression. Like, I didn't expect that from this. And I think it was handled really well. It was quite mature for a fucking, you know, it's aimed at kids as well. It's PG.
Yep.
It was a meth joke, which took me off guard. I was on meth. Oh my God. I didn't expect, at that point, I went online, looked at the rating. Like, that surprised me. PG movie about meth.
Well, the director also did Beef, which you thoroughly enjoyed.
Great. Yep.
Yeah. He hasn't done a heap. Well, he's got 30 things he's done, but from looking at his thingos, he did Shameless as well.
Robot and Frank.
Did one episode.
Oh, Shameless, yeah, right. Robot and Frank is good. He did Skeleton Crew, like an episode of that Star Wars. You know, he's known. Kidding, I've heard's good. I haven't seen it. The TV show with it's one of Jim Carrey's like later shows.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of TV and stuff. But he did a pretty good job in this, I think. Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Well, I also liked I was waiting for the big confrontation, but obviously they need to continue on with where the MCU is going to go. As they have now saved the day, they're like, all right, now it's time to get revenge on Val, where she looks like all of a sudden this is it for Val. But I really like how, you know, those villains that are just like cockroaches and they do whatever to survive, and they're always manipulating things on the scene. Yeah, kind of like that. I really like those type of bad guys where it's like, come on, let's get him. But they've always got something out of their hand, whether it's a desperate move or not. As they go to confront her, it's a press conference, and then she's like, now to introduce the new Avengers. And I was like, I like that.
Yeah.
That was cool. Rather than getting the like confrontation sucked in, we're the good guys, you're the bad guy, we've trapped you. It's like a ever-evolving beast, which they'll play into. So from memory, I think post-credit scene I had to look up.
Those two, yeah.
But I think they learned that the Fantastic Four are arriving, or whatever it was. It was called. But yeah, I am super keen. I feel like Marvel is going to get back on track if this film and the last film have any indication. Hopefully they can keep the steam rolling and the momentum going, because I am pumped on it.
One thing that
I really enjoyed it.
I'm not confident with this as the new Avengers is they all feel, in terms of like powers, they all feel quite the same. Like, there's no difference between Red Guardian and US Agent in terms of abilities. Black Widow is just a woman who is good at things. Bucky is pretty much the same as Red Guardian with an arm. Ghost is kind of interesting. And obviously we've got fucking Marvel Superman. But I don't know. That's one thing with this. Like with all the Avengers, they all felt significantly different. Like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, sort of those main ones, they all feel significantly different with their like abilities and powers, and fights or like action scenes were complex, interesting because they could do lots of stuff. Whereas they can point out in this, none of us can fly. Like we all just shoot and punch things. That's, I'm hoping that they add more is sort of what I'm saying, because action scenes in this were really dry in my opinion.
Yeah, it depends what new Avengers like comics and stuff they go off, because there's so many, and like more of someone who reads heap of comics would be able to tell you, like there's Wolverines in a couple of the new Avengers ones. You have like Spidey Woman, you've got Captain America, Iron Man, Sentinel, then you've got Scar, which has been confirmed that Scar, which is Hulk and She-Hulk's son, was in the new Avengers at one point. Like there's Squirrel Girl's in one of them. Like there's heaps. Luke Cage was in one of them as well.
Addition. It's just chaos and silliness.
Yeah, so like
Luke Cage again is the same. He's just strong.
Yeah, even The Thing was in one with Spider-Man.
Yeah, if they combine the Fantastic Four as part of the Avengers or the new Avengers 2.0, then that makes sense.
Yeah, so I do wonder where they're going to go with it.
Yeah, did I? But I went into this not excited, but I didn't hate it. I think it's handled quite well. It's quite mature. The score's great. Music's really, really good. I didn't look up who did it yet. But they did a really good job at it. I'm surprised at how good it was. It's shot by Andrew Droz Palermo, who's done a bunch of similar stuff, but also done some really good, like lesser known, like Lakota in America and The Green Knight, which I've, shot beautifully. It's well handled and it's presented in a mature way, which I was not expecting.
I like it that you liked it. Also, did you know that, when they were in the building, which is the second tallest building in the world, which is the one in Malaysia, or Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Yeah, the Khalifa, whatever it's called, something Khalifa.
Yeah, apparently Florence was like emailing the director and was like, I do not get a stunt double. I want to do the actions, the stunt of jumping. And like there was a whole back and forth about like, no, it's too much like legal issues with allowing you to do it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But she did it? But she didn't do it.
Yeah. So they wanted 3 women to break the Guinness World Records if they were able to do it.
And did they do it?
That's a very good question.
Okay.
I was just reading it before. Did Florence
Plague
do her own?
I also really liked what was the character's name? The assistant for Julia Louis-Dreyfus, DeFontaine, her like assistant character. She was pretty great too. She didn't have much to do. She's sort of in and out of the story, but she was interesting. I hope she sticks around.
Yes, she did. She did do her own stunts.
Oh, there you go. Good on her.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So she describes herself as a sassy Karen when she was demanding that she does her own stunts.
Yeah, well, you know,
it's pretty funny.
So often the actor's willing to do that. I think that in general, we've got silly characters like David Harbour, and you've got like larger than life characters like Winter Soldier. Florence Pugh holds this cast together. Her portrayal's great. Her acting's great. She takes it really seriously, which I appreciate. Obviously, you know, doing her own stunts. Her scenes with Bob are very strong. And you know, with a movie about depression and her being the one who he can lean on, sorry. You needed someone strong who could do that, and she nails it. It's a really good job. So, yeah. I think that, you know, credit where it's due. I'm at a 3.5.
Ooh, that's good.
I think it's great. Like, there's still a lot of dumb cliches in it. There's still every action scene. I was on my phone. I don't care. I like there was one action scene there, like they busted into the fucking headquarters and started fighting people, and there's all this big action scene and whatever. And then Julia Louis-Dreyfus's voice comes over the fucking intercom. She's like, "You could just come in the front door." So I like, you know, break up the action a bit with a bit of comedy. I
was like, oh, when Sentinel like just bent the shield, and I was like, whoa. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, he felt very. I was like, how the fuck are they going to beat him? And in the end, they didn't need to, which I kind of appreciated. I'm glad that the climax wasn't a big action scene. Like, it kind of was, but it also didn't need to be, because his scene, actually, the coolest scene probably in the whole movie. There's the one where fucking Winter Soldier grabs like the cable from the car and punches it into the ground, and that's pretty sweet. Two things I mentioned I haven't talked to you about yet. One, the scene where they're trying to fight Sentry, and he just thumps them. That's all a one-er, and that's really fucking cool. It's all just the camera pointing at him and sort of roving around him while characters keep jumping into him and getting fucked up. And they give like Winter Soldier the big like hero moment. He's going to do it, and he gets fucked up as well. That was really cool. But I also loved the way that he was like sucking people into the void, and would just like they just disappear and become a shadow, or like, you know, chalk on the pavement sort of thing. I think that was really fucking cool and quite powerful. Like, David Harbour saves his little girl, and she just fucking just disappears and gets killed. Sort of shocked me a bit. I was like, yeah, it's fucking awesome. I wish she did die. I think that, you know, more kids need to die in movies. But just because it has weight. You know, we're always fucking scared and dancing around child death, but children die in the real world, you know? Anyway. But yeah, some really cool scenes existed in this, and I left with a smile on my face, you know what I mean?
Ooh. Yeah. Well.
Which means I'm going to guess 4 or 4.5 from you. I'm going to say 4.
What if it's a Reimann
4.2
magical number? Just a win. What if it's like,
do what you want?
I will do what I want.
Yeah. Well, a 4.5 would be a draw. So you need to give it higher than that if you want to win.
What if it is?
I don't care. Do what you want.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was like this week watching things, I have been dialed in, like even to the point where I wasn't playing on my phone, ready to go. There was no moments where I was like, I have tuned out. So even watching the remaining of Last of Us and the 3 new episodes of The Last of Us and this, they were identical in terms of my engagement.
Yep, nice.
I thoroughly enjoyed both of them. There were moments in this where I was like, I wish we could like do something a little bit differently. But like there were moments it's captured the Marvel essence that I thoroughly enjoy.
Yep.
Like was it endgame like epicness? No, but it's definitely feels like Marvel is on its climb back.
How
like
compared to Avengers 1 for you? Because, this is the first new Avengers. How would you compare the two?
It's also a little bit tricky. Like the Avengers has the well-known characters, like those well-known characters that you've spent a lot of time with. Like it's got Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye. You've got all those like people that those well-known iconic heroes.
Yeah.
Where they're not like,
true.
I'm not super attached to these guys as much because I haven't spent that much time with them. But like Bucky, it was awesome. Bucky's portrayal in this was awesome. I enjoy Bucky. There was even a moment where Val goes, the shortest reign, political reign, whatever. It's lucky you're cute. And he's just like...
but taken back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's fun. It's on the right track. It's a 4. It's an easy 4 for me.
Fair.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I just don't... I originally gave it a 3, so I still got a little bit higher than, after sleeping on it a bit. But yeah, I don't think it's a 4. Like...
Well, no. Like,
But for those who are in the know and those who can piece together all the little puzzle pieces of the prior... This is the 36th, I think, I heard, Marvel film. There was a lot to sort of piece together before this. And for those who are in it and fucking appreciate all those bits and pieces, they're loving it. And that's fucking great. And that's the main thing in my eyes.
Yeah, it is.
It's not for me.
We're on a comeback, baby.
We're on a comeback.
The superhero era is on a comeback.
True. Yep.
Marvel Rivals kicking off. Marvel Cinema is coming back to peak cinema. What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
What a time.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yep. So, I don't even know what I'm watching next week.
That's my win this week, though. 4 and a 4 for Last of Us, and a 4 and 3.5. No, by the average of 0.25%, or 0.25 between the two.
I feel like you won easy last week from memory. Sinners.
Sinners shit on Until Dawn.
Yeah, but it was a close one.
Yeah,
close one.
Yeah, I have no idea I'm picking next week. Oh, no, also, what's the little asterisk on Thunderbolts? The name's Thunderbolts. Everywhere I see it has a little like ampersand, a little star at the end. What's that meant to mean? I have no idea.
Oh, that is a good point. Thunderbolts star meaning. Thunderbolts. What does
it was never the
mean?
Official name for the group of misfits. Oh, okay. As in, like it's an asterisk. It's not the real name.
It's like a self name, I guess, because they're now named the actual title. It's the actual title of the movie, The New Avengers. Because I guess they're announced as New Avengers.
New Avengers at the end, yeah. Sense. So I mean, the next one will be called Avengers.
The New Avengers, probably.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Is the next.
So make sure you put little star when you fucking upload this.
Called New Avengers. Now operating as New Avengers as Earth's mightiest heroes. Yeah, right. Cool.
Exciting.
Easy.
Yep.
So
not bad. Anyway, next week, no idea. I haven't picked anything.
Nope. You know what to do though. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure you give a 5-star rating. And if you're listening on YouTube, give us a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll tell your friends.
Tell your
them all,
friends.
tell one, and we'll see you guys next time. Boys.
Bye. Love yous.